What is up, everybody? It is Og here, back with another video, and we are actually in the week of BlizzConline. Why am I so excited? Well, there's a lot of speculation that with BlizzConline, we're going to hear what Blizzard is going to do with WoW TBC Classic. Now, why do we think this? Well, basically, we're still waiting to hear what's going to happen. We've gotten to the point where Naxx has been on farm for many guilds. Shadowlands has been out. It's been getting its attention, and starting to slow off with some of the player base. And the next logical step is to go for TBC. We've gotten a couple emails asking what Blizzard thinks. And at this point, pretty much everybody is expecting, TBC to come out. There's been some rumors, and we've gotten rumors of May 4th as being the official release date, April 20th being the pre-patch, potential of Draenei and Blood Elves actually in the pre-patch, potential of no gold cap, all these kind of things. And I've had videos talking about those. You guys should definitely check out those videos. And also, if this is your first time here, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell next to it. And then come check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Regalia as well. But we're here today to think about what could we potentially do to prep for TBC, and specifically with our mages. I focus a lot on mages. I'm going to be doing a lot of paladin and mage AOE content in TBC, but there's some unique ways that we're going to be able to prep. Why would we need to prep? Well, as we've talked about before, there's some big changes that come with TBC, specifically an AOE cap. We're used to pulling, hundreds of mobs at this point, AOEing them all down without any problems, because we could just continue to blizzard them. And we have enough mana, we can get back mana with clear cast and things like that, and just continue to blizzard down these mobs and kill them, and they're all slowed. The issue is that in TBC, with patch 2.2, Blizzard has an area of effect damage cap. Now, what does this mean? Well, basically, it means that Blizzard has a maximum number of damage that it can do to individual mobs, or to a group of individual mobs. So let's just say 10,000, for example. If we have one mob, we're still doing our normal 200 tick per mob. But if we have, let's say, 50 mobs, we're going to do 10,000 divided by 50, which means we're going to do 200 damage to each mob. This is hypothetical with 10,000 damage as the cap. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we're going to have to get creative. We talked about this a little bit before, but you can see here that Flame Strike is not included in this. And I imagine that Flame Strike's initial damage will probably be included in the AoE cap. However, the ground effect probably will not. Consecration is not affected by the ground AoE effect. And so what we've done is we've gone through and we basically tested what would it be like to basically make Flame Strike, and specifically the ground effect of Flame Strike, be our main kill strategy. There's a few items, though, that we're going to need to get to make this as efficient as possible. And with these items, I actually think you can probably continue to pull off even as big as Mara 500 pulls. So let's jump into what those items are. So the very first thing that we're going to need 100% is Blade of Eternal Darkness, guys. Now, obviously, this has been something sought after by a lot of people. Joker had 2,500 or something like that attempts to try to get it pre-patch. I had 850 attempts pre-patch. And then they nerfed the drop rate. So the drop rate originally was 0.19%, if I'm remembering correctly. But it was upped to about 2%. So it's now actually a decent chance to get this from a drop. You get this from Maradon killing the princess, and I'll have a guide to killing princess, which you can go ahead and check out and follow. And it's pretty easy at this point to take care of princess as a fire spec. You can do 5 lockouts per hour, and so 30 per day, and you have a relatively good chance of being able to get the Blade of Eternal Darkness within 1 to 2 days of AoE farming. Why is it so good, though? Well, the on-equip is that chance on landing and damaging spells deal 100 shadow damage and restore 100 mana to you. Now, this does not work with channeling effects, so it doesn't work with Blizzard, but it does work with the initial effect of damage. For example, Cone of Cold, Arcane Explosion, Flame Strike. And so if we are Flame Striking to kill all these mobs in big AoE groups, we're going to be able to get back tons of mana. Now, we mess around with this in ZG just with about 45 mobs, and we're able to literally keep a maximum mana pool AoE farming in ZG. That means that we could, in theory, be able to kill ZG and do our normal farm in ZG at level 60 in TBC. But this is going to be an imperative item to have, because if you don't have this, you're casting max strength Flame Strike all the time to get the maximum damage of the ground effect. You're not going to be able to do enough damage before you run out of mana if you don't have this. So get the Blade of Eternal Darkness. It's also useful for other farms right now. It's useful just for the overall, boosting that you could do now. It's useful for Naxx pools if you want to do the Naxx solo pools, etc. Work on getting the Blade of Eternal Darkness. That's going to be step number 1. But then we have to get a little bit creative. Now, we've always focused on T2. Netherwind, right? We want the maximum radius on all of our abilities, and that's fantastic. However, there's some other sets that can also prove to be really beneficial. The most beneficial is actually going to be the set out of ZG. Now, I wanted to show you guys this now because it actually takes a while to get, but out of ZG, we have the Illusionist Attire. The full Illusionist Attire set reduces the cast time of your Flame Strike spell by 0.5 seconds. It doesn't sound like much, but with a 3-second cast, we're talking about getting Flame Strike to be about 1/6 of the speed faster. So if we have a 16% faster cast time, that's pretty impressive, and that's going to really help us be able to keep blizzards going. The most difficult part of this AoE farm that we're going to have is being able to keep all the mobs slowed by blizzard while also keeping up the Flame Strike, right? Because when we switch and let's say we're in Mara and we jump up to the next totem, or we jump down to the totem or jump up, that's about a second or 2 seconds that we're switching during that time. During that, then, we have to try to get off the Flame Strike. Either we're doing one tick of Blizzard and then Flame Strike and then switching, and then the mobs are running fast, and then we got to do another Blizzard. If we're able to reduce the cast time of Flame Strike, it's going to be very beneficial. Why does it take so long to get, though? Well, the Zandalari's Illusion Wrap, Mantle, Robe, those are all pretty easy to get. Jewel of Kajaro, very easy to get. The Trinket, though. This Charm of Magic Trinket, the only way to get it is by basically farming those optional bosses in ZG. And you got to get all 4 of them to be able to make this trinket. Once you get all 4 of them, you can make the trinket, and then you can actually get this. But it's going to take, I believe, at least 4 weeks to get. And with only having potentially 3 more months until TBC comes out, this is going to be something that, you might want to start working on right now and try to get that down. The next thing that we potentially could use is Encantor's Regalia. And so Encantor's Regalia similarly has reduces cast time on your Flame Strike ability by 0.25 seconds. Again, doesn't sound like much, but when you combine those 2 sets together, we're talking about a 0.75 seconds spellcast reduction, which is massive. With Blizzard's ticks of the slow lasting 5 seconds, that makes it much more viable to be able to pull off these farms. And so I would highly recommend trying to get those 2 sets, combine them, so you can get the farms down. If I had to pick which of these 2 sets to focus on, I would actually pick the Encantors. I know that it's less cast time, but it's going to be somewhat difficult to get the Illusionist Attire, and obviously you can go back and you can farm it during TBC. But this might be just a good kind of jump into the game kind of set that you can get really easily, and you only need 2 set pieces rather than all 5. Since you only need 2 set pieces, that also means that you're going to be able to leverage T2. And so if you can keep the T2 rocking and rolling with the increased area of effect, plus having the Encantors for 0.25 seconds, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it will help, you really are going to be kind of at a leg up on the AoE farming once it comes time for TBC. We're projecting that we're going to have patch 2.4.3 for TBC, which means that patch 2.2 will obviously have already happened, and so we likely will need to take some new looks at these AoE farms. I'm really looking forward to the PTR, to being able to do this, test it out and everything like that. But if you guys have questions down below, if you guys have other pieces of gear you think might be useful, definitely let me know down in the comments down below so we can all try to figure out the best way to get prepped for TBC. Stay tuned for BlizzConline this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Catch you guys in the next video.